Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the Bitcoin price is getting a very nice bounce along the $60,000 level of support. In just a moment, I'll be covering whether or not this could be the bottom or we could experience a little bit more bearish price action. And later in the video, I'll let you know about some important levels to look out for on the chart and also in the order books right now. And since yesterday, we've seen a further decline in the funding rates. I'll be covering all of that and more in this video, so make sure you're sticking around all the way to the end so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, you might as well leave a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on so that you're not missing out on any of these future updates. But anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the 4-hour time frame. And first of all, just really quickly recapping yesterday's video, I mentioned yesterday that we were getting a small bounce from this upwards trending line of support. And I was basically saying that that was coming in at just above 62,000, close to 62,500 US dollars. But at that time, Bitcoin was also fighting this range of resistance, which helped push the Bitcoin price further to the downside past that important support level. And I basically said, as soon as we break this level of support right here, then I would expect Bitcoin to come straight back down towards 60,000. And that is where we're going to find our next level of support. And Bitcoin has pretty much exactly played that out, because just over the past few hours, Bitcoin has gotten a lot of support from that $60,000 price level as expected. But could this be the end of the short-term cool-off? Well, to potentially answer that question, let's look at the price oscillators. And right now in the RSI and the MACD, they are approaching their bottoms. The RSI is getting close towards oversold areas, but technically we're not there yet on the 4-hour time frame. And the MACD is also seeing some similar things. We're approaching a bottom sometime soon in the price oscillators. And the RSI, if you're taking a look here, we're already starting to flatten out here and perhaps curve back to the upside, but we haven't really started a new uptrend in the 4-hour RSI, at least just yet. So basically, we haven't necessarily confirmed a bottom just yet. But with that being said, if we see, for example, a bullish cross in the MACD, and if the RSI starts heading to the upside a little bit more, and especially if we can form a higher low on the chart, then those are the signs to look out for if we're resuming this uptrend. And so what are the most important levels for Bitcoin right now? Well, first of all, of course, that $60,000 level of support is our important support in the immediate short term. And as for some important resistance in the immediate short term, that is coming in at roughly around 63,000 US dollars. Now, if we do continue with this bounce here and make it up towards 63,000, that is when Bitcoin starts to enter a deciding moment, because obviously if we can start getting back above that resistance, that would be very bullish. But if we get a rejection from that resistance level at roughly around 63,000 and come back to the downside, then in that case, we would really need to see some sort of higher low form in order to remain bullish over the next few days. Otherwise, if we bounce up towards 63K and get a rejection all the way back down towards 60,000 to form a horizontal low, then that is potentially setting up a head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hour time frame, which is technically a bearish pattern. But keep in mind, this pattern is not confirmed whatsoever just yet. We have not even seen that right shoulder form. I'm just simply letting you guys know that it would be important for Bitcoin to break above 63K, or if we do end up with a rejection at around those levels, it would be important for the bulls to make a higher low on the chart so that we don't have to validate this head and shoulders pattern. But on the smaller time frames, like the 2-hour chart just here, the price oscillators are actually showing some bullish signs. First of all, we have a bullish divergence between these lows just here and the RSI. And looking in the 2-hour MACD, we've just had a bullish cross for the Bitcoin price, which is signaling to us that in the immediate short term, we are due for a little bit more of a bounce here to the upside and possibly towards that $63,000 level that I was just talking about. But regardless of this short-term cool-off in the Bitcoin price that we've experienced over the past couple of days, if you're simply zooming out to the daily time frame, what we can see here is clearly Bitcoin on this larger trend is still very bullish. This price target towards 79,000 US dollars per Bitcoin is technically still an active price target right now on the chart. And when you're talking about the trends that Bitcoin is in on the daily time frame, clearly we are in a very strong uptrend for the Bitcoin price. Even if the Bitcoin price has even more bearish price action in the short term, that would still not even change the current uptrend that Bitcoin is in on the daily time frame. Because remember, an uptrend is determined by higher lows on the chart and higher highs. And obviously a downtrend is determined by lower lows and lower highs. And right now, Bitcoin on the daily time frame is probably the furthest away from any sort of downtrend, considering the fact that the previous low is all the way down towards 40,000 US dollars. Taking a really quick look at the Bitcoin order books, just to give you guys an update, we've got a huge amount of buy orders coming in at just above 57,500 US dollars. And we've got a huge wave of sell orders starting at around 65,500, all the way up towards around the all-time high and just above the all-time high, coming in at around 67,000. So if we do continue on a bit more of a bounce to the upside, just keep keep in mind that decent level of resistance starting at around 65k, which is also the top of this range of resistance that I've already got on the 4-hour chart. And then that $57,500 level is suggesting a big amount of support for the Bitcoin price if we do end up breaking that $60,000 support level first. And also we already know about that $57,000 to $58,000 support level due to the fact that that was previous resistance for the Bitcoin price back here. And just recently, the funding rates across all of these exchanges right now, at least for Bitcoin, have seen a further decline with this short-term cool-off that we're currently in. And this is great to see because just a few days ago, a lot of these funding rates were well over 0.1%, which basically means that it becomes very expensive to maintain a long position. And technically speaking, when the funding rates are that high, it is a little bit of a bearish sign. But right now, most of the funding rates are sitting around the neutral range. So with the short-term cool-off that the Bitcoin price has had over the past few days, that has basically led to a giant reset in the funding rates, which is giving us more room to the upside when we eventually start pumping. And so because of all of those reasons, even though we are in a short-term cool-off, as I explained earlier, the larger trend is still a very clear uptrend. So I'm simply using these short-term cool-offs as buying opportunities to get in at some cheaper prices compared to where we were a few days ago. And remember, that's exactly what we were talking about back here. I was basically letting you guys know that we're due for a bit of a short-term cool-off, but that will end up being a great buying opportunity. And so right now I'm seeing a similar thing. I'm simply averaging slowly into the Bitcoin market so that I'm setting myself up for when the uptrend continues again. But obviously that's not financial advice. That's just letting you guys know what I'm doing and letting you guys know my Bitcoin strategy. And by the way, I already tweeted this out over on my Twitter, but I thought this is something that I should be adding onto YouTube as well, because right now the Bitcoin supply on exchanges is at the lowest level since September 2018. So basically when it comes to the amount of Bitcoin sitting on exchanges, we're at a 3-year low. And what this basically means is that the circulating supply of Bitcoin is a lot smaller than it was at any point in time over the past 3 years, which simply means that there is less Bitcoin to go around, especially when more and more people are jumping into Bitcoin as we're close to the all-time high. And because of the fact that there is less Bitcoin to go around, so there's less Bitcoin on exchanges, something like this is likely to trigger some sort of supply shock, which means that new investors into Bitcoin will have to start paying a lot more per Bitcoin because there's simply not much Bitcoin available on exchanges. So at the end of the day, the Bitcoin price comes down to supply and demand. And if demand just stays constant with the supply on exchanges reducing, then due to supply and demand economics, if demand just stays the same, the price is going to go to the upside. So this is definitely something to look out for. And by the way, the source of this information is over on Glassnode. And obviously the fact that the Bitcoin is a public blockchain, this sort of information is widely available. But make sure you are following me over on my Twitter because you'll know about these sort of updates hours before I post them in these videos. And you will also get a lot of bonus content that I do not share on this channel. And of course, it's all completely for free. And you'll find a link to my Twitter in the description down below. And make sure you're leaving a like on this video down below if you enjoyed. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. I really do appreciate all of your support on the channel at the moment. I can't thank you guys enough. We're actually getting closer towards 80,000 subscribers, which means the Crypto World channel is still on track for 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. So honestly, if we can come together and push the channel towards 100k by the end of the year, that would be absolutely amazing. And honestly, I reckon we can push the channel towards 100k by the end of the year, especially if we all work together. And before clicking off the video, for the new viewers on the channel, make sure you're checking out one of these uploads if you haven't already. In the bottom left, I've got a video showing you how I earn passive income in crypto every single day with no work required. And in the top left, I've got a trading tutorial video showing you how I trade Bitcoin. But anyway, that is really everything I have to say for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you all in the next video.